Hi, I'm Ariel.
And I'm Becca.
And welcome to Wine Wednesdays.
Hennessy on my lips, take a little sip, privacy on the door, I'ma make this shit grip. Icy.
So we're so happy to be back, guys.
Welcome back to another episode of Wine Wednesday. Thanks for watching our first one, and we hope that you enjoyed this one as well.
So what are we going to be talking about today?
Yes, so today's episode is a super important one, and something that you can definitely keep in mind if you're getting engaged, which is, you're engaged, what next? So we're kind of going to be walking through some of the steps in the process of when you say yes.
Yes. So start us off.
So the first step is the most exciting and shocking to all of your friends and family, is just letting everyone know and posting about it. Everyone loves that Instagram post when you get to show your ring or where your proposal was. So that's just how it can be, as private or as public as you want it to be. Really just make it unique to who you are. But I would say, yeah, just getting the word out. You don't have to give any details or anything. Just make it a fun little post.
Yeah, I mean, they're so amazing these days, and people are getting so much more creative with it.
I was just gonna say, we have seen some pretty basic Instagram captions with it, like my forever wedding date. I've seen that one before. Try to make it unique. Try to change it up a bit.
Yeah, I always love a punny one.
Yes, love a pun.
Love it. So after you've announced your engagement to the world, the next step would be choosing your wedding date. So choosing your wedding date could be something that's based on a symbolic date to your relationship. It could also be based on the time of year. I mean, if you're anything like us, we love the summer. However, the humidity here in Pennsylvania is ungodly.
Yes.
So summer months really aren't particularly my cup of tea. But then the other end of that is that you could be dipping into the winter months, and then you're freezing your butt off. So
you need a balance.
Something to think about for sure when you're choosing your wedding date.
Yeah, for sure. And Ariel, that's a great point, because actually choosing your wedding date can actually choose, the different budget that you're dealing with and what price your venue is going to cost. And that's kind of the next step that I'm going to get into, is establishing a budget overall. First, you want to determine if you want to have an engagement party. It's definitely not necessary, but if that's something you definitely want in your budget, make sure you kind of put that into your overall budget. Then the most important, your actual wedding budget, because that's where the chunk of your money goes for all your vendors. So, get with your fiance, take a moment, kind of figure out where you are and where you will be, and figure out what you want to spend.
Yeah, literally. And that also goes even further, and it goes to my next point, which is creating the must-have list for your wedding.
Yes.
So you have to think about your budget for sure when it comes to this, but these are things that you can't live without on your wedding day. Literally, it could be something decor related, the atmosphere, the aesthetic, all of the above literally could factor in. So create a list. Literally talk with your fiance. Come up with the things that are the most important to you. Is food the most important element? Is the guest experience, is entertainment the most important pieces? And then, the decor. We always ask our clients, what are the must-haves? So sometimes we'll hear signage, like having arch signage or having gold signage or mirror seating chart type of thing. Those types of things, and that would all get generated into your list.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, which again leads me to my next one, is turning all of those ideas, those must-haves, into some sort of organizational process, which is, we love Pinterest. So you could do a Pinterest board, or honestly, if you're more tech savvy and have a different kind of brain, you could just take random pictures and put it into an Excel spreadsheet. But kind of developing your vision for your day, and I will say, don't try to make it so perfect to what you want. Literally put any crazy idea you have in there, and then you can kind of take things out as you go, because your vendors want to see that big scope of what you're thinking to kind of dial it down to what you want. So yeah, just kind of thinking that through, and that can be the most fun part, is getting your ideas out there, creating a board. So I love that part.
Literally, sometimes it even gets a little overwhelming at points. It
does, because there's so much too. And your vendors, Ariel and I always say to our clients, don't just give us a perfect Pinterest board with every idea that makes sense. Give us the crazy, give us the ones that kind of don't make sense.
We actually enjoy that. It's almost like a Rubik's Cube. I have to try to figure out how to incorporate all these elements off a Pinterest board. Now, sometimes they don't blend, and we try to figure out a way to make them blend. But I like the diversity and
I do
of the
too.
trends and everything. Plus, it also helps me too, because some things that I don't know that are trending that, our couples are looking at,
Yeah.
that allows me to just kind of take a look at that. So we always ask our clients, who do they want, or who do they see rather, standing beside them on their wedding day? Because it is very, very important. Is it a family member? Is it a friend? Or do you want to skip the entire politics of it all and literally not have a bridal party? I mean, those are big things. But from a pro tip and a budget standpoint, the bigger your bridal party, the more that it's going to cost.
Exactly.
From your bridal party gifts to the floral costs.
You don't think about that, but
Those are things that people don't think about. But it definitely also comes right back to that
Right.
budget.
But I will say there are some really unique ways that you can still incorporate like friends or family that you need to politically, like guest book attendants or ushers, like having those not actually standing up with you, but you can definitely give some people some roles. I've seen some weddings where my clients where they literally have their friend like be on phone duty and like take pictures on their phone, which like maybe isn't the best, but it's still a way to keep them involved and they can still come to the bachelorette party. So try to think of those ways too.
We even had a client who literally had their close friends literally be included in every single thing. They just didn't walk down the aisle.
Right. There's other ways, and that's the biggest thing is just telling your friends and family and being transparent about it. And because it is
Absolutely.
tough with budget and everything, and they should understand that. And
Yeah.
that kind of leads me into my next is creating a guest list. That can also be a bit messy. First of all, the first thing you want to think about is who is generating this guest list and who is the voice behind that. Is it mom and dad that's kind of forcing their friends and family down your throat and saying we want them in? I would say find those people, whether it's just you and your fiance or if it's maybe it is your mom or something, to kind of go through the guest list and just give a big list of everyone and then you can cut from there. Another thing to keep in mind is literally plus ones. People don't think about that. The general rule of thumb is if they've been dating for 6 months or longer to immediately kind of put that in as a plus one, but down the line they will, if they feel inclined to, ask if they can bring a plus one, but kind of keep that in mind based on who's dating who. And then another aspect is children.
Yes.
Mom and dad usually love a night out, so I would say try not if you don't want that for your guests to have children in it. But if you have like your ring bearer and your flower girl, maybe you can invite children and have that. It just all depends on what you want, but it really just depends.
Also, kid tables are becoming a trend as well.
They
So if you are going to have kids involved in the wedding, maybe put them in a kids table. Give them activities.
Yeah.
We provide, when we know that their kids are going to be involved, or not involved,
A part of the wedding.
literally a
Yeah.
part of the wedding.
They're kind of involved.
I mean, sometimes they are involved, as you said earlier, but literally when they're going to be attending the wedding, give them like coloring books. We
Yeah.
provide crayons, we give them coloring books, we allow them to enjoy, so then again the parents can still enjoy as well.
Right.
And then, by that little bit of separation, I think it's like a saving grace for some parents too.
It is, and it all depends on you guys as a couple, what you guys want. If you want children there and that's really important to you, have at it. If not, don't be afraid to say no children. It's totally
Literally.
okay.
Same with the plus ones. Don't be afraid
Yeah.
to tell people no. Okay? This is your cost at the end of the day. These people aren't paying for that plate.
Yep.
Let's be real.
Because it's a plate you're paying for.
I mean, and we've seen it all over the board, especially
Yeah.
with our clients that we work with.
Exactly.
So just, sometimes you have to make that hard decision, but stand your ground, and they shouldn't be mad at you. They should still be attending your wedding because it's above them.
Yeah, exactly.
So
What's next?
So the next part would be choosing your dream wedding venue.
The best part.
Yes. So what are those elements that come into play with that? Is it that moment? Is it that feeling?
Yeah.
Is it based on the location or the decor that's inside? Those are
Yes.
big things.
And I will say, don't feel afraid or like stressed if you walk into a venue and it's not like a click wow moment. Sometimes it takes just like many visits to different places and you can say, okay, I think we can make this work. I think everyone has that dream thing with their
or a
dress
dream
too.
wedding planner or designer to come in and change the entire thing. We've done it
Right.
with many venues.
Like be open-minded about everything, about your dress, about your venue, about your decor. It all comes
Absolutely.
into play.
Yeah. Also, another thing to consider as well is, are you going to be getting married at one location or
Right.
2 locations?
Yeah.
Will you put a break in between, your ceremony and your reception? Those are things to consider as well, especially when looking at a venue and
Yeah.
the hours that you get to reserve that space.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, and so the venue is kind of the main one that you want to book as soon as possible, and that's where the vendor search kind of comes into play. Is you want your top tier vendors that you need to book. That's your venue, your caterer, your photographer, videographer, DJ. These are people that can't book like 2 clients a day. So that's where you need to kind of get those vendors booked first. Your second tier vendors are more like your cake, florals even. They can do like multiple things, clients a day. So those are kind of the things where you want to get those vendors locked in first, and then you can get into the other ones.
absolutely.
There's even like a third tier with like photo booth and like
that's
some
like the fun. That's
creative
like,
stuff.
like a branch of the entertainment for the
Right,
guests.
right.
Now, I mean, all this stuff is very, very important. Let's
Right.
just flat out say that. But once you get through all of these steps, I think there was 9 steps.
Yeah.
Then you get to the fun parts, which
Yes.
is your design, the decor, choosing your wedding dress, all
Yes.
those things. That's where everything really,
Comes together.
literally.
And that's another thing I was just going to say is you don't have to feel pressured to bring every single person that's significant to you along with this process. Like, wedding dress shopping can also get political of who you bring. Really just make it natural to who you are, and people are generally very understanding about the different things you have to do, but definitely your fiance for all the vendor searching and all of the, not the wedding dress, but all of those things, and then maybe parents, maybe 1 or 2 friends, but don't make it like a big crowd, a big posse coming in, because then you
Literally.
have way too many voices, and that can really make it difficult for choosing your biggest vendors and everything.
Literally. So if our video today gave you any type of anxiety, our recommendation would be keep calm and hire a wedding planner.
Yes, and drink wine.
Literally. Because it's always 1 o'clock here in the office. We hope you enjoyed everything, and we can't wait to see you next week.
Thanks so much for watching, and thanks for staying tuned for
Wine Wednesdays.